Hello, Sunnyside. What a blessing it is to be able to be before you once again, for it's been a little while. There are a few things that I think that you just might want to know that I'd like to share with you. If you didn't get a chance to attend a Good Friday service this year, or if you didn't get a chance to even go to an enjoyable Easter service, I'd like to invite you to, again, just use your fingers to go and check out the services that were held here at Sunnyside. I found them to be really, really inspiring, really nurturing, really encouraging. And again, they're still available for you to take the time to go and see. Again, don't hesitate to respond positively to that invitation. At the same time, I'd like to thank our pastor, Dr. Redmond, for allowing me to do this Do Know series. The Lord has a way of just kind of working things out sometimes. And I maintain that He made this opportunity available for me so that I could just maintain my sanity over the last 2 or 3 years since we've been dealing with COVID. So again, thank you, Pastor, for responding. Okay, in such a positive manner. There are a few things that have been happening again since I last taped. If you will continue as you are looking through Sunnyside's different services for Black History Month and really Women's History Month, during the announcement segment, I tended to give some mini lessons, mini meaning M-I-N-I, some small lessons. So quite a bit of thought went into those. So again, take the time as you're looking at our services to check out some of those lessons as well. The real ID. I understand that in the future, you're going to need that in order to travel by plane within the U.S., all right? So, Sun Rising Presbyterian Church, which is located at 5277 West Adams Boulevard, on April 15th from 10 until 2 p.m., you will be able to get your real ID. So again, rather than stand in line at DMV, you may want to consider calling to pre-register. Call the number 310-641-5410, okay? And ask about acquiring the real ID. There are a few things you need to have with you. One thing is, again, strongly recommend that you pre-register at the DMV so you can call and do that. One thing that you will need to have, though, is proof of identity in the form of a birth certificate or a passport. Then you will need 2 proofs of California residency, okay, in the form of bills, okay, or documents of insurance or deeds, okay, things that really have your name and address on it, okay? And it also goes on to say then that if you don't have some of this, that you can use your Social Security number. Okay, but check it out. You may also pre-register by going to bit.ly/real-ID and then / Bryan, Bryan. Okay, again, bit.ly/real-ID _ Bryan, Bryan. Okay, the event is coming up on us quickly, so you may want to check that out. Okay, but again, do pre-register at DMV. So let your fingers do the walking. It just might save you some time. Since I last spoke to you, there's been a lot of news coverage regarding City Councilman Mark Ridley Thomas. okay, and the charges that were brought against him. Okay, in fact, there were some 19 charges that were brought against him, and he was found guilty of 7 of them. The LA Times tells you essentially their view of what happened, but at the same time, you may also want to check out a different point of view, okay, from some other sources. You may want to check out the LA Sentinel. You may want to turn to KBLA 1580 AM and just get a different slant on what was taking place. All right. It's quite interesting how laws can apply to us in one way and they can apply to others in a different way. Once the charges were just even mentioned, he was immediately stripped of his title. He was immediately stripped of his salary. Again, things happened almost the very next day. And yet there are charges being brought against others, and they just continue to just drag on and on and on. So again, a lot of work needs to be done in that area. But again, don't give up. And again, don't be afraid to use your feet. Don't be afraid to be a foot soldier when you think that things are going really against members of our community, when it just doesn't quite feel right. Okay? Again, continue to do some additional research. As I'm talking about charges being brought against different ones, again, watch the news, and just stay abreast of what's happening. A positive note, Victor Glover, NASA's first Black astronaut, will be orbiting the moon. In fact, he will be the one that's in charge of the ship as they go around. Again, stay tuned, okay? And let's pay attention to that liftoff, okay? Victor Glover, okay? A Black NASA astronaut. As I continue with just a bit of information, I don't want to be negative or anything, but I've noticed on the side of our church, it seems like different ones are starting to use that as a mural, okay? It's graffiti, all right? And the churches are being commended for just quickly taking it down, all right? So when I was teaching, I used to have little flyers and things that I would give to the kids and would tell them, as you see things in your community and you know it's not quite right and you can call and report it, then don't hesitate to do that. As you're traveling now in the city of LA and you see bulky items sitting on the curb, don't hesitate to call 311 and report it. Don't hesitate to call 800-773-2489. Okay, and report it. Okay, report it. Sometimes you'd be very surprised at how quickly things will be removed just by making a call. Okay, I had kids just walking around looking for stuff, okay, so that they can actually report it. But again, free bulky item pickup. 800-773-2489 or call 311. 311. Okay? My husband and I tend to walk up at Kenneth Hahn Park. And it's amazing how beautiful nature is just coming back in, especially behind all the rain that we've had. But as you drive up the main road going up to Kenneth Hahn Park, you'll see a lot of yellow. And I was once told that a lot of that yellow is wild mustard greens, okay, that are growing. And one time when we were actually walking, a lady had a bag and she was actually picking up those greens. So I'm not suggesting that that's something that you do, But I'm really, really curious as to whether or not those wild greens are edible. But as you come up that road, and I urge you to do that because that's a beautiful part that is hidden in plain view, that not enough of us really take advantage of. It is free to the public from sunup to sundown, Monday through Friday. You only have to pay on the weekends. So I invite you to do that, to go there. And as you go to the very top, you will see, again, the tribute to Dr. King. And as you look on one side, you'll see the Los Angeles Basin. And you'll see, now you can see snow-covered mountains on a clear day. When you look in the other direction, you can actually see the Pacific Ocean. So again, it's free to the public. And again, the walking trails are just beautiful. I find myself as I'm walking right along the edge. And today I had to ask some of the walkers, who were those Olympians that were tumbling, and as they would land on the wire? I think, is it Simone Biles? Okay. Just different Black Olympians that could really do it. Okay. But let's follow their path. And again, just follow the paths. One of the most helpful things you can do for yourself now is to just get out and take a walk. To just take a walk. Okay? As we went to the Soul Steppers walking and exercise section at Baldwin Hills Mall, and oftentimes, now listen, when I'm making announcements, in many instances, I have seniors in mind because I believe that the youth are really being looked after, okay? But I don't know who's really looking out for the seniors. So oftentimes my announcements really are geared towards seniors. But as we were walking through the Baldwin Hills Mall, okay, the Soul Steppers were there. And I have a habit of sometimes when I get a notice about the exercise class that's held on the second and the fourth Tuesday at 8 a.m., Baldwin Hills Mall, it was just really great to see, about 60 seniors just walking the mall. First of all, we'll start out, Coach E will give us some exercises, and then we will walk the mall for at least a little over a mile, which is going that space at least 3 different times. So if you would like some additional information, check out AARP Soul Steppers, okay? My husband and I will be there. Again, I've been doing that for years, and he just now joined me, okay? As I think in terms of walking this morning, or again, at Kenneth Hahn Park, there was this lady that was from a distance, and she said, here they come, and we were saying, who is this running toward us? Because we could not make out who it was. And it ended up being a friend, Yvette, that we met years ago walking up at the park. She and her husband have been back in Chicago caring for her mother, and she's just here now for a while. Okay, just doing some of God's work with students, with children and all. And she just recently found out that her mother was hospitalized. But again, I'm inviting Yvette to please come worship with us while you're still here before you have to return to Chicago. But what a blessing it was to actually see her and her husband. She was one then that would put on productions. I'll say productions. She would hold classes down on Skid Row and have them to come in and do writing sessions. And then from time to time, they would share their writings. Beautiful, beautiful work with the public. Okay. In fact, this book that I'm using right now is one. Okay, this journal is called The Future is Unwritten. I got this by attending one of the sessions down on Skid Row where they were actually sharing some of their beautiful writings. Again, the Lord has a way of just using your talents, okay? And sometimes you don't know what they are, but just pay attention. You'll be surprised. He will reveal them to you. Okay, I think I'm getting kind of long-winded. I'm thinking of my uncle who said that my sermons were too long. But as I'm getting ready to close out, as you're watching the news, and do know that I'm one that's always going to tell you about the importance of voting, just know that there are some Justins, okay, that I saw that there was this demonstration back in Tennessee, and one of the signs said, "No Justins, no peace." Okay, there were two young Black members of the Tennessee House, okay? But because they dared to protest the unfairness, they protested the fact then that not enough is being done, okay, about gun safety, about denying the availability of guns. And in their state, at a private school in Nashville, there were like 3 adults and 3 children around the age of 9 years old, okay, that were actually killed. And these members of the House then were protesting along with other voters, okay, that more should be done, And quickly, again, as I said, Mark Ridley Thomas, and next day they took away his salary. Okay, but quickly the House actually stripped them, of their roles, okay? And at the same time then, it was interesting, I maintain it was interesting the way the Lord works, okay? He really gave them national attention. So now we are aware of Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, okay, who are now who were members then of the Tennessee, I guess it's the Tennessee House of Representatives, I'm not really sure. But again, they were stripped immediately of their positions because they dared to demonstrate, they dared to have a lawful demonstration then about what their lawmakers were not doing, okay? So just be aware. As a result, Justin Jones, okay, that very next day was reinstated. He was reinstated, okay. I'll tell you, the Nashville Metropolitan Council voted unanimously Monday to restore Jones to office, less than a week after the GOP lawmakers stripped him of his seat. He was voted to be the interim lawmaker, okay, of his own seat, all right? And as of today, we will know whether or not Justin Pearson, okay, will also retain his seat. Justin, isn't that something? Justin. They both have those names, okay? There's something special. Again, I maintain that's something the way the Lord works, okay? There were actually 3 of them that were demonstrating. The third Democratic Representative, Gloria Johnson of Knoxville, was targeted for expulsion as well, but she was spared by a single vote. And when she was asked why she thinks perhaps she was spared, she even came out with the fact that she thinks perhaps it's the fact that she was not Black. All right. So again, people just do know that what a lot of time and energy and thought and people laying out their lives putting their lives on the line that were actually fought for back in the day, really back in the 60s, many of those rights and privileges, they're really trying to just strip away from you, strip away from us now. So your vote, again, is really, really important. Do know that The whole terms, when you hear the term gerrymandering, okay, you should perk up. Okay, that means something fishy is going on. When you hear the word voter suppression, okay, something's going on. And chances are it's in a way that they're going to limit your right, okay, to actually vote. In some instances, back in different states, okay, where they have been using college campuses for voting sessions. Okay, actually, now they don't want those student IDs to be used as a form of legitimizing their vote. So just be aware, a lot is going on, okay? And there are a number of people then that have really lost their lives, okay, recently, but just do know that there's a whole list of folks in the generation of today, those that don't come to my mind, okay, that you just need to be aware of. Back in the day, okay, many of them were members of the NAACP, okay? So in memory of people such as George W. Lee, okay, of Medgar Evers, of James Chaney, of Mrs. Viola Liuzzo, of Vernon Dahmer, okay? These were people, again, that really risked their lives in so that we might have the right to vote. So your vote is important, okay? It really continues, okay, that there are those then that are working hard to make sure that you really don't get your vote. All right. Closing up, closing out. Tax day is upon us. I'm not sure. I was given a form or given some information to just share with you that perhaps you may qualify for an extension, but again, April 15th, is it April 14th? April 15th is upon us. But because of some dire situations in the states of California and Alabama and in Georgia, perhaps you may be entitled to an extension to October 16th. So check that out. In closing, okay, people, they tell you that it's over, but all I can say is you must do what you feel is in your best interest. And if you feel it's in your best interest for you to mask up, then again, you may be the only one in the room. Okay, don't be scared. Do just that. God bless.